In the second video, I have told you about question hour, 0 hour, half an hour discussion, adjournment motion, adjournment, adjournment sine die, prorogation, dissolution, different kinds of bills. I have also discussed the procedure of passing an ordinary bill. Now, in the third video, I'll be talking about the other kinds of bill as well as the budget and the parliamentary committees. Now, I'll be talking about money bill. Article 110 of the Constitution of India defines money bill. Article 109 of the Constitution, it tells the procedure of passing of the money bill. Now, what is the difference between the ordinary bill and the money bill? As I've already told you, the ordinary bill can be introduced in either house of the parliament, but the money bill is always introduced in the Lok Sabha. The money bill is always introduced on the recommendation of the president, but in case of the ordinary bill, no such recommendation of the president is required. Now, whether the bill is a money bill or not a money bill, the decision of the speaker is final. The more power is given to the Lok Sabha in case of the money bill. In case of the ordinary bills, both the houses have equal power. In case of the money bill, the power lies with the Lok Sabha. In case of the ordinary bill, both the houses have equal powers. In case of the money bill, once the bill is passed by the Lok Sabha, it goes to the Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha has not much to do in case of the money bill. The money bill can lie in the Rajya Sabha only for a period of 14 days. The bill can be returned by the Rajya Sabha to the Lok Sabha with recommendation. But it is up to the Lok Sabha whether to accept those recommendations or to reject those recommendations. And then the bill is deemed to be passed. In case, after the lapse of 14 days, the bill is still pending in the Rajya Sabha, then the bill is deemed to be passed. Once the bill is passed in both the houses, then the bill goes to the president. In case of the money bill, the president has two options only. That is, to pass the bill, to withhold the bill. In case of the ordinary bill, three options were there with the president. That is, to pass the bill, to withhold the bill and to return the bill for reconsideration. But in case of the money bill, the bill cannot be returned back to the houses for reconsideration. Now, let's talk about the financial bills. What is the difference between the money bill and the financial bill? As I've already told you, the money bills are discussed in Article 110, which generally deals with the money matters. As far as the financial bills are concerned, Article 117 of the Constitution talks about two kinds of financial bills, that is, financial bill first category, financial bill second category. One thing more, money bills are always financial bills, but all the financial bills are not money bills. Now, in case of the financial bill, that is the first category, the money matters are included, or you can say all the matters which are given in Article 110 of the Constitution, as well as non-money matters are also there. However, in case of the financial bill, category 1, it is always passed on the recommendation of the president, and the financial bill category 1, it is also introduced always in the Lok Sabha. And then the same procedure is followed in case of the financial bill category 1, which is followed in case of the ordinary bill. In case of the financial bill category 2, it is also introduced with the recommendation of the president, but it can be introduced in either house of the parliament, that is the Lok Sabha or the Rajya Sabha. And then the same procedure is followed which is followed in the other kinds of bills. Now, I'll be talking about the Constitutional Amendment Bill. As far as the Constitutional Amendment Bill, such kinds of bill are passed for the amendment of any article of the Constitution under Article 368 of the Constitution. Now the difference. As far as the money bill, the ordinary bill and the financial bills are concerned, always the simple majority is required. But in case of the Constitutional Amendment Bill, majority of the total membership of the House as well as the two-third majority of the members present and voting is required. Otherwise, the same procedure is there as that of the ordinary bill. This was all about the bills. Now, I'll be discussing in brief about the different practices and procedures which are generally used in case of the budget. Now, what is budget? It is annual financial statement of estimated receipts and estimated expenditure of the Government of India for each financial year. Now, a separate statement is required to be presented showing the sum which is required for the expenditure to be charged upon the Consolidated Fund of India and the other expenditure. Earlier, there were separate budgets which were passed. One was the general budget, other was the railway budget. General budget was presented by the finance minister and the railway budget was presented by the railway minister. But now this practice has been ended in the year 2016. In the year 1921 till year 1924, there was no separate budget passed. But in the year 1924, on the basis of the recommendation of the Auckworth Committee, the separate budgets were passed. Now, different devices which are used in case of the budget. As we know, the budget is passed in different stages. That is, the general discussion takes place, then detailed discussion takes place, then demands of vote is there, then cut motion is there, then vote of accounts is there, then guillotining of demands are there, etc., etc. Now, what is this Appropriation Act? No money is allowed to be withdrawn from the Consolidated Fund of India unless the Appropriation Bill is passed. When the demands of grants are discussed in the House, then after that the Appropriation Bill is passed. Once the Appropriation Bill is passed, then it becomes an act. Now, what is this cut motion? Whenever the demands of grants they are discussed in the House, a member may seek reduction of the demand of grants. Now, there are three kinds of cut motions: disapproval of policy cut, economy cut, and token cut. Disapproval of policy cut, that is, the amount of the demand be reduced to ₹1. This means a member is not satisfied with the policy underlying the demand. Second is economy cut, that the amount of the demand be reduced to certain specified sum. That represents the economy to be affected. And the third cut, that is the amount of the demand be reduced to ₹100 to ventilate some specific grievance which is within the field of the government responsibility. Now, what is this guillotining of demand? Now, you know that there are different days which are fixed for the discussion of these demands of grants. On the last day which is fixed for the discussion on demands for grants, there are certain demands which are not discussed as well as voted. Now, these demands are guillotined. Or you can say no debates takes place, they are just voted, that is voting takes place. Now, what is this votes on account? At the end of the financial year and before the passing or introducing of the appropriation bill, at times a sum is required for the administration of the country by the government. In that case, recourse is taken to the votes on account. A lump sum amount is granted to the government for the expenditure for the 2-3 months, because during that 2-3 months, budget is presented and the Appropriation Act is passed. Now, I'll be talking in brief about the parliamentary committees. As we know, these parliamentary committees, they are rarely useful for dealing the matters of technical nature or some specific nature which can be discussed in detail by the small number of members rather than in the House. There are different kinds of committees. That is the ad hoc committee, and second is the standing committee. Standing committees are again of three kinds: the financial committees, the departmental related parliamentary standing committees, and the other standing committees. Now, whatever recommendations are given by the parliamentary committees, they are generally accepted by the government. And in case the government does not agree, then the matter is referred to the Speaker for guidance. And there are 17 departmental related standing committees. In the year 1993, the number was 17. However, this number was raised to 24 in the year 2004. To sum up, the history of parliamentary government is very long. During this time, a number of parliamentary practices and procedures have taken distinct shape. It reflects people's will. It is stirring to note that a number of parliamentary devices have taken deep roots. At the same time, certain unhealthy deviations have been made. Undoubtedly, with the passage of time, the foundation of a good parliamentary democracy will be laid down in the times to come.